30 to do a 30-inch circle. So rule of thumb when you do a pattern is that at 30 yards you want somewhere around 85% pattern density, and at 40 yards you want anything above 70%. This is basically a 30-inch circle. So we'll do in the middle there to give us a reference. I'm going to be shooting bismuth with my first test, so I'm going to switch to my full choke to start, and I'll try that first. First shot 30 yards, 3 and 5 blend. Pretty good pattern. I think it's rounded out pretty good. Definitely dense in the middle. To make it easier for counting, it's actually pretty even. We got 47 fourth quadrant, 51 third quadrant, 45 second, and then 29 in the first, which is a little bit lower. But overall, 172 out of 198. Which equates to 87%, 86.8, so round up to 87. So that's right about where we're looking at. I think if I put my extra full in, we could probably get above 90, but this is already pretty tight here, so I don't know, I'm pretty happy with this. All right, 40 yards, bismuth 3-5 blend, full choke. After counting it up, we got 131 out of 198, which equates to 66%, which is just a little bit below the recommended 70% at 40 yards. But I think if I went tighter in choke at 30 yards and less, I would start to lose some of my efficiency there. So I mean, the pattern would just, the core would just be too tight. So I'm happy with this. I think this is the right choke for that load. So that's the thing. You pick which load you might be using, test it out, see what it does, and see which choke is going to work best for this. I already know from shooting in the past with different chokes that this one is going to be good. So I'm not going to waste my time shooting other ones because I just know this one's going to be good. But we're going to test some steel. And see how that performs too. All right, so I took the full choke. I'm switching to steel now, so I took the full choke out. And normally I'm going to shoot modified, but I'm going to try the improved modified today. So typically what's recommended is modified with steel, full with bismuth. Again, you need a pattern to verify. So we're at 30 yards now. I got Mr. Blue. So a 3-inch steel, 1.25 ounces, 2-shot. All right, so the bismuth, they list their pellets in the shell, so we know that from their listing it's 198. The steel we had to cut open. It's a 3-inch too, and we counted 198 pellets, which is ironically the same. But we got 147 out of 198, so 74%. But obviously, I shot a little low, so it's probably going to be equal to the bismuth with the improved modified. Like I said, you want a little bit more open with the. I mean, this is good pattern density. It's not too tight. It's spread out enough. And obviously the result speaks for itself. 74% is not bad. especially considering I went a little bit low. And back at 40 now, Mr. Blue. 3-inch 2s, improved modified choke. Alright, so we counted up again. I think this time I was aiming like right there when I squeezed. And still a little bit low, but overall it's pretty good. I think I was closer to dead on with this one. We got 139 out of 198, 70%. So exactly what you want. I think that improved modifies the ticket. Thing is, when you're patterning these, you don't really need a fancy aftermarket choke. I would start with modified, improved modified, full, maybe extra full. If none of those pattern good, then maybe consider buying an extra choke. But the chokes that your gun come with are going to be good enough in most cases. This one's obviously money, so the results were similar for both of them. So obviously the brand A Bismuth was using a full choke, which I knew from shooting beforehand. Usually Bismuth performs very well with a full choke. And steel, I went out on a whim and tried the improved modified, which I was actually very happy with. The 74 isn't really accurate, probably more similar to this 87%. I shot a little bit low on that one, but the 70% at 40 yards is very good pattern. Main difference between the two loads is this one's Bismuth, this one's steel. Bismuth is a little bit more dense, hence why you can go up in shot size a little bit. So this is a 3 and 5 blend, 50% of each. So if you average those out, it's more like a 4-shot, and the steel is a 2-shot, which we'll link some other ones in the description. Other YouTube channels that have done more like gel and penetration testing. But basically with a steel 2 and a Bismuth 4, you get similar penetration results. So all else being equal, they basically perform the same. So we can leave it up to you guys on what you decide, but I guess how I would view this video, or how I would look at this, is more of an overall why you should be patterning your guns. It's helpful to be confident on what you're shooting and the results you're getting with your load and your choke.